Hello friends, Winston here. Today's video is about LA Walk, and it's a walk around Los Angeles looking for succulents. Usually you would go to the botanical gardens to find your succulent. Sometimes I simply walk along the streets and find myself looking into parks where lots of succulents grow. All these short video clips come from some of these succulent parks. They are open to the public, and many times I'm able to move in and take some pictures. If you look at this one, this is in Beverly Hills area, and generally speaking, it has a very nice collection of plants. Looking at Oreo Cereus, Salvian, and lots of other agaves, etc. It's important to understand the nice thing about Los Angeles is that sometimes in very unsuspecting areas, you can come across things like ferrocactus, as you're looking at the moment. You suddenly come across a piece of land where some groups of people are growing lovely succulents and succulents that you can enjoy. I also go to lots of the botanical gardens like Huntington, Arboretum in California area. It's Arcadia, you'll find the Arboretum. And in many areas, you can see lots of agaves where you don't expect to. Back to the Beverly Hills area. This area I like because it's an area which is open to the public, and it's an area which has a splendid collection of succulents. Okay? It's very close to the road, and sometimes you have to put up with the noise, etc. But it's very worthwhile visiting. You're looking at a Peresca, Saccharosa, and this comes from another area. In fact, it does come from the Arboretum in Arcadia. I like the Peresca species very, very much, which means they are pseudotropical, and they are plants which I remember from way back in the Caribbean, and they also grow very nicely in South America. Peresca is worth growing, and you can easily grow them from seeds. You can also easily grow them from cutting. Either way, they develop very easily and can be grown in the ground. Other times, if you don't have the right kind of weather, which means if you live in very temperate land, you can grow them in pots, keep them in a greenhouse. I don't have to tell you that wherever you are, you will have lots of agaves, no matter how hard you try to avoid them. In this case, this is the very well-known agave parii, okay? The truncata agave. Small ones, but very nice to grow. Very, very nice to grow. You can grow them in the ground, you can grow them in the pots. It's up to you how you go about it. But generally speaking, truncatas are not only attractive, they also make a wonderful display in any garden. This is another agave, probably least popular on in terms of people out there. This is the shoei, agave shoei, which is not well known, but should be much well known because it's a very attractive plant. And I think, given my interest, I will take the young agaves and put them all over so that people can appreciate the fabulous plants that they are. Agave shoei, I a beautiful agave and something that you should strive to grow if you can find it at your local. Well, let's do some opuntias. They need no introduction because they are certainly some of the easiest plants, cactus plants that is to grow. They grow immensely easily, as I said. Their pods are produced so fascinatingly that you can just cut out the pod and be careful with the pines or the glosses or whatever because they can attach themselves to your hands in a way that is very destructive. So opuntias, wonderful. And let's face it, you see them almost everywhere. These are like micro daisies, very small, very fluffy. But as I said, be very careful. Like most of these plants, you have to handle them with care. Agave blue girl, a beautiful agave. And I call this a middle-sized agave, which means it's not too huge like the Americanas. And that means you can easily grow within your garden spot. If you don't have the space in the garden, I will try it in a pot because I, generally speaking, do grow lots of agaves in pots. Living in the UK, where the weather is not always complementary to cacti and agave, some can be in the ground, but you must be careful how you approach the growing of these things when you put them in the ground. Also, you can build up on the soil, make sure it's very porous, and you will have a better start. I thought I would include some of these. This is your aeonium, rarely seen about. These I remember seeing, and I thought, very nice, flowers. And therefore, it gave me a chance to include them in this video. Aeoniums are very popular. And they're popular because they're very easy to grow. They grow from cuttings. They grow from seed. The seed sometimes gives the impression that they're difficult because they're so tiny and you look at them and think, oh no, they will never work. But they do work and it needs a little patience to get them going. If you cannot wait, you should try and use a few of the cuttings. Leave them a day or two to dry out. After you place them in a very warm soil and you'll be on your way. Ah, some euphorbias. And these are giant euphorbias. The size of them. Okay. Hammock. I like them very much. I like the color. Usually they are very green, but this are light, creamy yellow, and therefore puts in a very great appearance. Hammock. Phobia hammock, very desirable. Difficult to go in the ground if you're not in a good area. A good area in this case means um, pseudo-tropical area. Right? In London, where I live, you wouldn't dare put a plant like this in the ground unless you choose to put it in the greenhouse where the temperature is controlled with a certain degree of heat. Ah, recapitulate. Okay, we stick to the old name. Okay, aloe recapitulate. This is a beautiful collection of plants that I saw in Los Angeles. And I like the way they were mixed in with other things. Aeonians, aloes, other aloes. But in each case, they all had flowers, which pleased me very much. Okay. The weather in LA makes it easy for plants to thrive. Not only do they grow easily, they also produce adequate flowers, which we all like to see. Alopecia, plant that you can grow from, well, cutting or more easily from seeds. Seeds will produce a greater number for you, and in many ways, you should be able to do that. Not only in the ground, if the weather isn't up to it, you can put them in pots and get going. Oncorina, the pride of Madagascar, are very desirable plants. They are pseudo-tropical, by that I mean they like warm weather and cannot stand extreme cold. So if you make an effort to keep them warm, those yellow flowers will come to you very often. Oncorina, Grandieri, a beautiful plant. Zacharii, also beautiful. Lovely yellows with purple center. They do grow tall. If you grow them in pots, they probably stay very short. But in the ground, with the right kind of weather, they would surprise you with size. Okay, another agave. Beautiful variation. I thought these were interesting because they grew around grass-like plants. Very different from what you expect to happen. Okay, something very different. As I said, something very different. Aloe vera, one of these beautiful plants from Madagascar, and the leaves are very tiny and have a nice velvet feel. But be careful, deep in those velvet leaves are fine, and you have to handle them well. This I like because it can be very deceptive. You can look at it when you first start growing and it's very small, and then after a few years it began to spread, and this is what you have. Aloaria procera, a great plant from Madagascar, something which you should strive to grow. Ah, not many of you probably grow pure. I find them very interesting. Puya mirabilis, this one is very tiny leaves, and they're very skinny as well. Very, very skinny. But the flowers are interesting when they get very close. You can see the yellow bits, right? Puya family, of course, are a branch of the Bromeliad family. And generally speaking, some of them grow very large, very, very large. This you probably know very Pachypodia, part of the whole Madagascar plant. Again, a plant that is very desirable, but you have to be careful. Ah, several factors, part of the group. This one I like very much. Very, very much. It's amazing to see it growing in the ground. I thought that so far we know the aloes except a couple of it. So here is a very popular aloe. You would recognize it. Triata, of course. Okay, some call it the coral. And one not only grows very easily and spreads itself around, but produces wonderful flowers. Something that you should take to heart, and you should put them in the ground and hope for the best. Aloes are very easy to deal with. If you're in the right climate, the climate of Los Angeles is very good. You will not only be able to grow them strong, but you will also be able to get the wonderful flowers that we love to see. Ah, this is a giant agave, really. And I like it so much that I thought I'd slip it in here. Okay. The shoot goes up because it's getting ready to bloom. And as you know, with agave, the head goes up and heralds the end. I thought we landed something more sort of botanical. This is, in fact, Huntington, California. So see a very wide collection. I thought it would be nice to end our little walk with that in mind. I hope you enjoy this great collection of plants. Winston in London, thank you for watching.